Thank you.
Congratulations.
We gotta quit eating like this, gals.
Okay, cross country coach, do we have? Yeah, yeah, come on up. Oh, that's great. All right. For the first time, probably in cross country history, we had 3 individuals who take this year, which is outstanding. And we led by 2 extremely good captains. Lefty Dutcher, who's not here, I don't think. He is phenomenal. She is the Bill captain, and she is leader second straight state country cross country meet. We have Julia Downer, who's the first year up cross country at 8th grade. And our male team captain, first time team, hopefully will be done again next year, Ryan Young. And do we have everyone? All right, hoping that maybe we could get all of the state participants that are here tonight to come up to the front, and maybe we'll get you down below and we'll take a picture with you and the whole
5 out of 6. Oh. Yeah, you mean we're gonna. Please. Come on now.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect, Joe. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
right there.
Okay. Want to get pictures? And I would just say on behalf of Pinson Public Schools and your superintendent, I mean, what you do every single day and you've represented us and the skills that these students are acquiring as a result of their extension of school day and participating in extracurriculars are things and lessons that you're going to take on for the rest of your life. Okay, I promise you that the perseverance and the dedication and all of those things that you've had to do to get where you are, those skills are going to take you all kinds of places, and I just can't wait to see where you go in life. It's just pretty incredible. So thank you so much for everything. And for those of you who came for that presentation, you're free to stay for our whole meeting, or you're free to go at the end of the session.
I go to that over there.
Oh, yeah, I'm wondering if I didn't have any more. Okay.
Before we go into our roll call and truth and taxation, I'd just like to take a few minutes to thank Craig Johnson for the last 8 years that he has been on the board. I've served with him for the last 8. It's been my pleasure. Tonight is his last meeting, and I think we have a little going away.
Beautiful bell here for Craig for all of his years of service. Now, where's this going to go? You got a special spot at the house for it?
Oh, yeah.
And it does ring too. But you know, one thing that I learned early on when I started as a superintendency, they said out of all public officials and government officials, when they've done surveys of the public, the general public, school board members are the most highly respected out of any governmental position that there is. You know, all the way up from our presidents to our senators and Congress folks and city council. So the work that you do in terms of the perception of our public, you're perceived as is very, very high. So thank you so much. I wasn't here to experience getting to work with you that long, but in my short time here, it's been a pleasure. And I think I speak on behalf of all the superintendents before me to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move into roll call. Let the record show that all are present except for Deb Holm. And we'll go into truth and taxation.
All right. This is a little unique because this is a presentation for the public, so I will have my back to the I think they're used to that. Tonight, we are to talk about the reasons that we levy dollars for the district and what those expenses are used for. So every school district in the state of Minnesota has to have a truth and taxation hearing, so does the city, and so do our counties. All right, so my first slides are just, this isn't working. So how did I do that?
I think we can see it just fine.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of weird. Okay. All right. Tonight we have to talk about our current year budget. So we'll mention that. We'll talk about the property tax levy and what we levy those dollars for. And we have to give you time to ask us questions or comments. Generally, I like to start with this price of government. This is used, actually created by MREA. It's not created by the district. And it shows that the price of government is really not any more expensive in 2015 than what they're projecting for year 19. It's kind of decreasing little by little. Is that screen not up and running there? Does anybody know how to get that screen up? Okay, we'll put somebody on that. Who and what impacts those state levies? And now we lost two screens. Technology is not my thing.
It's
Okay, we got that one up. All right. State legislators, we just went through an election in November, so we elect people to our offices at the state level, and they impact our levies that happen here in Princeton. Our governor's administration impacts that. And of course, our school board, they work with organizations like MREA and C, and they make recommendations to state legislators on what we would like to see at the state level. Going into our budget, we operate a very complicated budget. It's more than just one checkbook. We have multiple checkbooks within a checkbook. We have the general fund, which runs all of our operating. So it means we pay for teachers, we pay for our custodians, your utilities, all the supplies that you use in your classrooms, all that normal day-to-day stuff. Food service, we have a food service fund, which must be kept separate from our general fund, and that food service fund pays for food, the staffing, and the supplies that are used in that area. Community education is also the same thing. We pay for adult learning, after-school programming, and again, there's supplies and staffing. Currently, we do not have a building fund, but we did a few years ago when we built our primary school, and that has to be held separately and cannot intermingle with any of the other funds. That is a voter-approved area, and it's very important that we keep that separate. Debt service fund, this is what I call our house payment. Every year we have to pay We term bonds here that pay actually the payment for our buildings. So our new primary school, when we built that, we levied and bonded, as we call it, but really it's borrowing money, just like you do for your house, and you have to pay a payment on it. So we do that every year. In June, by the June 30th of every year, the school board must adopt a budget for the school district for the next fiscal year. And our fiscal year runs July 1 to June 30th. And again, we have each of those funds, and those funds have quite a few dollars attached to them. Our general fund, that, as I mentioned, runs all of our operations, pays for our teachers, our custodians, our utilities. You're looking at a $37 million price tag there. We're quite a robust system. Food service is about a $1.8 million process. Community education is just short of that. And then, of course, our debt service each year is, our house payments is about 3.6 million coming up here, which is a little bigger than what most of us pay for our payments. So that's gives us a total budget of over 44 million in expenses. Our revenues, we're projected right now, and we do fill the worst case scenario budget, is projected at 43 million between all the funds. And as we go through this, you'll see that we will probably be readjusting that revenue up a little, which is good news for Princeton Public Schools. So our general fund revenues, how do we raise those revenues? Well, a big piece of it is student enrollment. The number of kids we have here is what we are paid for. We also raise, our money comes from levies that are, they're really state levies. The formulas are developed by the legislature, and we have to follow them. Special education funding, we have a special area for that, and those students generate some extra dollars. We also have federal grants, you may have heard of them, Title I, Title II, and we also have federal grants that are outside the realm of the normal, that are competitive grants that we file for each year. And then, of course, there's state programs out there, and then we do have some participant fees, which are probably the smallest part of our main budget, the largest being student enrollment. This is always a nice chart to look at. This shows how much we are bringing in per student and where other districts are setting in comparison. Princeton has not asked the taxpayers for an extended levy above what is allowed by law. So we have, in the state of Minnesota, 331 districts. When I counted the rate categories, meaning that they're getting different amounts of money in different school districts per student, there were 218 different rates. 6,625 was the smallest rate category, meaning that's what they received per student. 10,632 was the largest per student. We fall into the 23rd rate category. And there's a lot of districts in that rate category. There's 47 districts. There are some of those categories, like the $10,000 one that they received 10,000. There's one school district in that rate category because they have a special levy that they pass. Our rate category is 7,195, and that is just taking in what we are allowed by law. This is our enrollment, and as I mentioned, this is a big piece of our puzzle for revenue, the largest piece. And as you can see, from 2012 to 2017, we were consistently going downward. And we have been doing a lot of things here at Princeton Public Schools to improve. performance in the classroom and to give families and students options. And in 2018, as you can see, we had a wonderful school year in which our enrollment went up quite a bit. And we are seeing that projection continuing forward. We were just reviewing that with our finance committee that we're looking right now at a 1.4% increase in on top of our 18 numbers. So it's a wonderful piece to see that all of the hard work that our staff are doing is showing that people want to come to Princeton. Open enrollment plays into this. There's choice in the state of Minnesota. You can choose to go to any school district you want. So we do have quite a few students that choose to go out, and we haven't really slowed that. What we've seen in this last school year is that people are moving into our district, and a lot of times they move into your district because of the reputation of your school. But there are still people choosing to open enroll out because of that choice. But we also have quite a few people who are choosing to come in, and over the last several years, we have raised that number about 100 students. So that's good news for the district also, that shows how hard they are working here. Community education, that's our based on adult population in the district, and it's usually the census numbers that are ran by the federal government. Early childhood, we receive money for our younger students based on the number of children under the age of 5. Of course, community education operates kind of like a business, and that's participation fees, and they run with also grants that they can apply for. Food service, we have a federal grant for food service. Many of you know that by the words free and reduced lunch. People can apply for that. It's a federal grant from the federal government. The other big piece is student participation. And of course, we try to offer a number of healthy things and a lot of variety on our lines so that there's a lot of choice there also. This fund is the only fund in the district that no levy of dollars apply to. So property taxpayers in Princeton schools boundaries do not pay for food service. It's all based on the grants and the participation and any state aid that we receive. Other district funds, as I talked about, was the building fund, currently not in use. We do not have a building program going on right now. Next year we will have that in use because tonight we will be talking about long-term facility maintenance and $4.5 million bond that does not have an impact on the taxpayers. It's money that we are already bringing in. Debt service fund, again, is the house payment for the district. And of course, we pay that every year. Twice a year we have those payments. So tonight we're going to talk about the school district levy, and I didn't change, I have a typo in here, I apologize for that. It should say 2018 payable 2019, and it should affect the 1920 school year, so that's why I didn't get updated. The levy that we collect in this school year is what we use for next school year. We recognize that revenue following. We do have a separate sheet on the table over there, I believe. There should be, you hand that out. There should be about 10 copies, yes. That shows what our levy dollars are, and the reason I put it as a separate sheet is because when you put it up here, it's not as readable or in the presentation, so I wanted you to be able to look at it by hand. But we have 3 areas: the general education levy, which this cycle we are looking at raising 3.5 million off of. Community education is about 310,000. and our debt levy is 3,260,000 for a total of 7.5 million. It's an increase of 6.57%, which sounds like a lot of money, or a large percentage for an increase. But you'll see later on in the presentation that the impact was not significant to our taxpayers. So how are your school taxes spent? 47.8% of it is really the general fund, and the other part is the debt service. Community ed is a very small piece of the whole levy portion of our budget. If you look at the general fund and you look at all the dollars we bring in, really only 10% of it is levy dollars that are raised just within our boundaries. The rest of it is state supported in some fashion, or fees, grants. Community education is a little bit bigger when it comes to property tax supported. It's 24%, and 76% is state and participation fees. The debt service fund, that is really the opposite of the other two. It is funded, our house payment is funded by our taxpayers. Only about 10% of it is funded at the state level. Sorry for the interruption. We have Eller's coming to talk to us tonight, and she's lost. Again, our proposed levy increase tonight is $465,000 with a 6.57% increase. Reasons for our change is general education fund is really our enrollment. The larger our enrollment is a part of each of the formulas, so that has an effect on all of the categories. The debt service fund, we're required to levy 5% more than the bond payment, and then of course they adjust that as our fund balance grows so that we never have too much money according to the state. But just in case people don't pay their taxes, we're still able to make the payment with themselves. We didn't have a whole lot of legislative changes this year, which is unusual. Usually there's something, but this year we didn't have anything. One of the things that we like to look at is the impact of what we're asking our taxpayers to pay versus our neighboring communities and some of our comparison districts. As you can see, Princeton is third from the bottom. We are like dollars apart though from Malacca and Cambridge, just dollars. So it's very close. We do not, we haven't asked the taxpayers to go significantly above and beyond what the law allows us to do. And we've kept that pretty reasonable, I think, for the taxpayers in Princeton. This year, the impact on a $150,000 home was approximately $722. This information comes from school finance. The impact in 2019 is going to be $714. So our tax impact has come down, and we just did an analysis today, which I wasn't able to put into this presentation, that showed that all of our categories, seasonal, ag, commercial, we're seeing a reduction in what was required to be paid. What causes property taxes increase and decreases? Well, of course, changes in your market value. If you have a significant increase in your home value, that will impact what's happening. It's also altogether our entire district, what is happening with the values in our district. If we have growth, the impact will be spread out and we will see a little bit of a decrease. If we have no growth or we retract back where we have less building and less growth in our tax base, then we pay more. The state also has class rates that each home is commercial property, egg property is valued at, and that plays into it. There's state legislation that we talk a lot about, and of course any voter approved referendums, which our last voter approved item that we took to the public was the primary school. Changes in market value. That's actually reviewed in the spring. You'll actually get a notice from the county. And you'll look at that and you'll go, do I like that? If you don't like it, you can go talk to the County Board of Equalization. At this time, all that is set in stone and they don't change those but once a year. So that you want to pay attention to that in, I believe it's called March when those come out. And then taxable market values can include reductions or any improvements in your property. When you see a large increase in your taxes, people forget that there are programs out there to help people who are struggling to pay them. So there's a number of them. So we have what we call the circuit breaker that was started in the 1970s. It's available to all owners of homestead properties, and there's income level. Maximum refund is $2,657. There's a stamp tax form that you can request or find online at the Minnesota Department of Revenue. That's one of them. And there's a special property tax refund, which is if you had a large increase of at least 12% and $100 over the prior year, then you can go in and ask. A lot of times you can have your tax accountant help you with these at tax season time. And then there's a senior citizen property tax deferral that they can work on deferring their property taxes if they are unable to pay them. And then those property taxes would be paid when the home is sold or whenever the homeowner passes away. A year ago, there was a school building bond egg credit that came across, which would have helped many of our agricultural properties. That's still in place today. And we also have a commercial property tax credit, which is still in place. So those things, those two automatically happen and should be reflected on everybody's tax statement. Tonight, the board has to pass a resolution setting the levy for this year, which is paid in May, which affects our next school year. So at this time, I invite any questions we have from the audience. Yes. Yes, PSEO are students who choose to take college courses at the college. And we get a small percentage, I believe it's 0.12 or a full one. And online, those students who be in our online program at Princeton, those are in our enrollment numbers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm looking at this,
school age care disabled and went down $58,000 for school year and for the investment.
So each year we have to determine, we put in an estimate of what those costs are, and they fluctuate based on those that qualify for that program. And when when the need goes down, we don't necessarily know that until after it's happened. So then the state of Minnesota says we have to give the taxpayers back that money. So, and that will include 2 to 3 years worth of credits because it takes a while for the state system to get that. So which one? Career and tech. So career and tech is based on the amount of money that we spend, and we get about 35% of that back. And so we had some changes in staffing. We went from staff that had been here for quite a while to younger staff, and they start out at a lower rate of pay. So then that affects how much we collect. So we would collect less money when we have that type of change. Any other questions? Good question.
Michelle, one thing, those deductions on there don't mean less programming, or we're not gonna put as much money into that program or into that program. These are numbers that are just dictated by what the state dictates on how we can come up with a budget that we have to submit to the state.
Right, they're all formula. And so if we have 4 teachers and we can have, and the calculation is 35% of that expense, that's what we get. It's a little more complicated than that, but in simple terms, if the total is $100 and we're allowed 35%, we would get $35 out of that $100. Does that make sense?
We were very drunk in enrollment in 2018, that is, like you mentioned, that would be the online academy, that would be the development that conversion flow.
Yes, our kindergarten number last year was much higher than the previous year, about 25 students. So we are definitely seeing some growth at high school in the 9 through 12 because of various programming we're seeing growth in. We also have brought back an ALC program, which is full too. So all of that has an impact on that bottom line. Any other questions? All right. Move back over to the board chair.
All right, we'll move into board members' committee reports. We'll start with Howard.
Had a community education meeting and I brought the question up from here, how many board reps need to be there? And they felt 1 was enough because we were sending 2 and they said 1 would do it. But that's a decision to be made here. And apparently Ryan didn't forward the minutes, so I'll send him an email so they get put on board book. Was at a Hall of Fame committee meeting, and we have some potential inductees for the next Hall of Fame thing. And participated in the JV1 Act Festival. Our school was not represented, but I got to be the consultant, and that was kind of fun. And that was it.
Eric?
No committee reports, but I've been to numerous band and choir concerts in the last month. Yeah, a lot of activities.
The only thing is, I had last meeting I went was coffee with the superintendent. Had a very good talk with him, and it made me feel real good about the choice that we made. And I think that the public needs to hear that from board members and from staff that, you know, I think we picked the right leader for our district.
Agreed. I, before the meeting, attended the finance committee meeting, and I had agenda planning with superintendent.
I also did the finance committee meeting, and then I also watched the cybersecurity webinar on the school board, MSBA school board website.
I got nothing.
No. All right, student council.
Currently we are planning our snow days dance, and for our dress up days, we decided that we all wanted them to fit around the theme of fundraising for health issues. So each of our dress up days is going to be a different color that represents a health issue to spread awareness. And then we're going to be selling something or doing an activity to fundraise money for that. And it's all going to go back to Fairview Hospital.
Very nice. Superintendent.
We just once again want to wish Craig well wishes. Don't be a stranger. There's always a place for folks from out in our community to participate at various levels. So we'll stay in touch. You have my number, and so that will be good. Just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I mean, it's just I can't believe that time has flown so quickly that we're already at our midpoint of the year. I think I can safely say that our students and our staff are well deserving of a short break here to energize their batteries just a little bit. So enjoy the time with your family. I do. I have another one of our coffee and conversations with the superintendent for the public tomorrow, I believe. Or is it Thursday? It's Thursday. Thursday at 9 a.m. at the middle school. That's been a fairly successful way to communicate. I think I feel really good about one of our strategic plan goals of communication. We are increasing the level of our communications, trying to use a variety of different modes of delivery. And certainly the face-to-face interaction is maybe one of my favorites. And it's just a great way to meet people and hear their voices. So that's really good. We're getting close on, coming out with a campaign to tell our story, just on some marketing kinds of things to share out with our community and the greater state. Just what is Princeton Public Schools all about? What's our game plan? What makes us special? We do lots of things, but great, but we need to tell our story. So getting excited about that campaign. It should be coming out here shortly. Last thing I guess I would just leave you with is we're continuing on with our kind of organization of our structure as a school district in terms of how we do our work. We have a draft of our org structure that we're presenting out at the different committees, and just looking for efficiency and effectiveness and alignment. One area that I think is really important for the board to know that you'll be hearing lots about probably for the next year at least is an area that we found a little bit of a gap that we can improve in the area of curriculum design and a process for designing and writing curriculum, mapping curriculum, and then also tying that into a cycle for which we purchase new materials. We have lots of needs in our district as it relates to uncovering some areas where we have outdated materials, if you will. But I think we firmly believe that for us to be spending significant resources on materials, we need to have a process in place for us to design and write our curriculum before we just go out spending money on materials. We want to be purposeful and intentional. So we're trying to get the framework set up for us to be able to start that work and get some more like vertical teaming and vertical alignment where the departments are working together, pre-K-12 more than we have been. So more to come on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, we'll go into, I'll need Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion was made by Sue, seconded by Howard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Discuss and act on previous board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the previous board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Howard, seconded by Eric Strandberg. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Chad Young, seconded by Craig. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda?
Just one question. The fundraiser that's coming up. If you look at the dates on the fundraiser, it's already over, and we're just getting the approval of it now. Yeah, it's kind of ironic. That's all I have to say about it. We're approving something that's over with.
I'm gonna be abstaining from this vote since I'm included in the personnel.
Yeah, and I just I had a question. I see all the gifts, and I wanted to thank everybody that donated. I think it's great to see everybody donate to our schools. It's definitely appreciated. I did notice that our backcourt club had purchased jerseys for our basketball team, 9th grade team. And I was just, one thing that I get questions from sometimes are, where do the other school funds come from to pay for those jerseys? And like I said, I'm very grateful that our backcourt club paid for that. But it's just wondering, does that usually come from the district, I guess, before versus coming from our backcourt club?
We have a separate budget
Oh, it does. Okay.
for uniforms and
Very nice of them to pay for that. So thank you, backcourt club.
They're very nice jerseys, that's for sure.
That's all. I have.
All right, any other discussion, comments, questions, anything? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Eric, you're abstaining?
Abstaining from this vote.
And let the record show Eric Strandberg is abstaining from the vote. We'll move into our work session under letter A, $4.5 million pre-sale bond report. And I believe
we have Jody.
we have Jody from Ellers to present to us. Yes, please.
Welcome, Jody. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Where'd you come from this evening?
Roseville.
Roseville.
Yes.
Drive safe home.
Easy. Yeah. Not a bad drive at all. I was up in Clearbrook last night, so this was easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never even heard
So,
of it.
what's that?
I've never even heard of it.
Clearbrook Gonvic? School
I've heard of
district.
it, but I'm not sure where it is.
Past Bemidji. About an hour past Bemidji.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of black bear. Yeah. Got to watch out for those. A lot of moving obstacles of mainly wildlife that I had to watch out for. Not a lot of traffic. More traffic in this area, but a lot more wildlife up there. So we have a pre-sale report for you. This is an informational item. I'll turn to the first page and just highlight a few things as part of the pre-sale report. You'll see that we are estimating that the par amount of this bond issue would be $4,305,000, and the board did authorize up to $4.5 million, but we're expecting to get a premium, and I'll explain that a little bit more when we get to the next page. These funds will be used for deferred maintenance projects that are part of your long-term facilities maintenance revenue, so it's not an additional tax levy, and you do get quite a bit of state aid in this program. So about 51% of these projects will be paid for with state aid. The remaining 49% is local levy. It's going to be a pretty short bond issue, so just shy of 8 years, and we will not have a call date. So we've done some refunding bonds for you in the past. These will not be eligible for prepayment or refunding because it's such a short term. Generally, we'll have a call date if the bonds are 8 to 10 years or longer, and this is just shy of that. You'll see that you already passed a resolution saying that you're going to participate in the State Credit Enhancement Program. That program is free of charge, but they do guarantee the payment of your debt should you not be able to make a payment. And then you'll see in that rating section that Moody's assigns a nice high rating of AA2. Your current underlying rating is just one notch below that, a AA3, which is a nice high rating also. Anything in that AA category is above average in the state of Minnesota. So we'll hope to have them confirm that rating again, and then they will definitely assign the AA2. On page 2, then, you'll see the reference to the issuance of general obligation bonds. We generally get nice low rates on debt that we issue that's general obligation. And again, that reference to the long-term facilities maintenance aid. So you do qualify for a lot of aid from the state to help then with the projects. We will solicit competitive bids just like we always do on your bonds. We think that gets you the best rate. And we're getting lots of bids still. Rates have gone up since we've probably issued debt for you for the primary school, but still with this short of an issue, we'll probably get some good rates. And then that next section describes the premium pricing structure that we expect to get. So most of the underwriters have been providing bids that are in excess of the par amount of the bonds, and that those amounts then can be used toward the project costs. So we're assuming that we'll get a net premium of about $200,000. Each underwriter will give us a different bid on the day of sale, and we factor all of those components into the true interest cost rate, which is what we award the bond sale based on. We don't have any refunding opportunities for you right now. That's at the bottom of the page there. On page 3, a couple of regulatory requirements at the top of that page. And then that next section, just letting you know that we're working in conjunction with your bond counsel, Knudsen, Flynn, and Deans. The paying agent will be Bond Trust Services. That's who you use now. You're required to have a paying agent if you participate in the State Credit Enhancement Program and you want to participate in that program, as we just discussed. And then Moody's Investor Service has been the rating agency that you've used in the past. So on page 4, you'll see that this process started. It really started in May when Michelle submitted the 10-year plan to the Minnesota Department of Education. And then you passed a resolution at your October 18th meeting of your intent to move forward with the bonds. And the pre-sale meeting is tonight. We'll get an official statement ready for you. And then we'll have a conference call with the rating agency. So we'll look forward to that with Michelle and Ben. And then we'll take proposals on the day of your February 5th meeting. So that morning we'll get the bids in, and then we'll present those to you that evening at your meeting. And then we're expected to close on February 28th. So that's when you'll have your funds for the projects. So we have a few financial schedules attached, and we wanted to wait until we were a little bit closer to the sale date to present these to you rather than give them to you in October, because rates do fluctuate quite a bit. So we want to put our best estimates of what we think things will look like. So page 5 shows you our sources and uses schedule. So how we expect the money to come in, and you'll see that premium that we mentioned as part of the narrative part of this document. And then that bold number, net available for project costs, is what you would have, including some estimate of investment earnings as you spend those funds. So you'll get the money deposited initially, and you won't need to spend it all on day one. So we expect you to earn some interest on those funds. Page 6 is what we think the debt schedule will look like. And page 7 then summarizes your long-term facilities maintenance revenue, the general fund component, the total long-term facilities maintenance revenue, which is still phasing in for you until your average building age gets to 35 years. So because you're just a bit under that right now, you continue to qualify for more revenue, and you qualify for more revenue as you have growth in your pupil units too. So we've got some of that factored in. And then that money gets allocated between the general fund and the debt service fund. So you see that happening. So the potential new bonds, then that's the debt service portion of your long-term facilities maintenance revenue. And then the remaining general fund revenue is what you'll have left for other projects that you need to take care of, because you've got a list of lots of things that need to get done throughout the district. And so you'll still have funds remaining to make sure that you're able to take care of those projects. So that's how it works. We're very happy to have this program in place. For many years, there were 25 large districts that qualified for unlimited funds as part of an alternative facilities program. They still are grandfathered in at that level. They can issue bonds and levy as much as they think their taxpayers can tolerate. For districts like you and everybody else outside of those 25 districts, this is the program that's now been phased in over a 3-year period of time. And Everybody's happy to have it because the state put quite a bit of funding into it. They recognize the fact that you have facilities that you need to protect the investment in. The facilities, when you build them, they're community assets, and you want to be able to make sure you keep the roofs up to date and that sort of thing. And there was never a funding mechanism for that. So the beauty of this program is that you can either use the money in a pay-as-you-go basis, or you can issue bonds up front, take care of some large projects, and pay it back over time with revenue from this program. So it's really a nice program with lots of flexibility, and very happy that it's in place now for districts like Princeton.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you'll be in touch with us on the future, the next steps, the meetings and all of that.
We will. You'll be hearing from us, and we'll get an agenda and some materials ready, and then talk to you in advance of the conference call with Moody's too.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, so we'll move into our action items. I need a motion to accept the 2018 levy pay 2019 resolution as presented.
Make a motion to accept the 2018 levy pay, the 2019 resolution as presented.
Motion was made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Craig Johnson, second by Eric Stramberg. Is there any discussion on this? Comments, questions for Michelle? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote. We'll start with Sue.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Listed there is the second reading of policies. We've all had a chance to look them over. Is there a motion to accept the second reading of policies?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Chad Young, second by Howard Valencourt. Is there any discussions, comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no additions to the agenda. Future meeting information is listed there. Keep in mind that the organizational and regular board meeting is on Wednesday, January 2nd, the first one. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Just, one thing I just want to mention in future meetings, Mr. Chair, is the following one that isn't listed would be that next board meeting. And I just want the board to know that I'm gonna have to work with Eric, or if there's another chair, around the night of our board meeting is phase 1 training. So our new board member, Jim, would be at that. And historically speaking, I've always liked to go to phase 1 with the new board member. I don't have to, but I wanted you to know that that will be something I'm going to be working with the chair on how to navigate.
Motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
Motion was Eric and Craig. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's over.
Real chair.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thanks, girls. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I'll go for it.
Christmas break.
No.
I'm gonna shut off the. How do we put her on the screen? Save her from driving.
Do you have to sign
Like a
anything?
what? Oh, for online. I mean, we have the technology.
Or ship the sign. I mean, there's forms to sign.
Thanks for everything, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for coming.
Ask her.
I will try.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, where she would just be
We're hanging.
a camera. I mean, it makes no sense for her to drive an hour for a 20-minute speech when we could have her on the screen. Everybody could see her. She could see us. And we could just, I mean, it was, I mean, think of the money that, at the big picture, right?
Yes.
When was it? Joel, worked with Joel mostly.
Sure, it was nice to drive all the way up here. She did a great job.
Yeah, she's probably like a seasoned veteran now.
I don't think I have to sign this one.
Okay.
Does it say, oh, I thought it said clerk on it. This is chair. Oh,
I think you're always red and I'm always yellow.
then you're done.
Well, thanks again, and we'll see soon, I guess. Yeah, I have a very important reason. Her granddaughter was starting her very first hockey game as
You
goalie.
going?
So we live by the family first idea, so.
Just for a drink, right?
We can handle the board meeting. She needs to be.
Who's going to Pizza Pub?
Pizza Pub.
Yeah. Oh, she's